we're sleeping on, but not really.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Today is Sunday, August 24th. We are another day closer to NFL season. A couple things you might look different. We got Danny Stone being a GQ model over there. What's going on, Dan?
Yeah.
You just finished
Hey,
NFL draft, I heard, huh?
yep, I just finished up a fantasy draft. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about some picks for a little pool league that we're in.
Oh, yeah. The difference with me, I'm rocking the Moon Mammoth. Finally got my hat. If you recall,
Beautiful hat.
Danny Stone and I are from Erie, Pennsylvania, where
Yeah.
they had a um, change for a couple nights, the Moon Mammoth for the baseball team. So I'm rocking that. As you probably saw in the title and description, what we're doing, Dan and I are in something called a money pool, which we talked about and referenced multiple times last year. Actually, I'll just hop right into the rules. What is a money pool, you're probably asking? Well, it's kind of like a season long daily fantasy, but with team specific. You pick the teams before the season starts, no changes. The way the scoring works, this is the way our league runs. If you run your own league, you can do it however you want. You can be unlimited amount of people enter the league, just no one can have the same lineup. So once you submit yours, as long as you're the only one with that league, that lineup, you're good. Dan and I, we have ours locked in. We'll show you those here shortly. The
Yep.
scoring, the way we do it is 1 point for every regular season win, 3 points for each playoff win, and if you have a bye week, that would count as a win, and 5 points for each title. So you get, division title, conference title, and Super Bowl. So it's pretty interesting. This will be my third year doing it. Last year I came in second. Dan, how many years have you been doing it now?
This will be my third year as well, I think. And last year I came in fourth, I think.
Fourth.
So I was just shy of uh, winning anything. Obviously, we all pay our taxes. It's all above board.
Yeah.
It's all very, very well handled. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. Knock wood, my first 2 years, I haven't won, but I've been competitive. So I've been in it the whole year, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a lot of overlap, and that's what you'll notice. Like I said, there's unlimited entries on as long as your lineups are different with teams. Again, you can control how you want to do it if you want to make a cap for your own league.
Yep.
But I think what it came down to was a Super Bowl winner. Dan had the Chiefs, and someone else had the Eagles. So because
Yep.
the Eagles won, they got third. If Chiefs would have won, Dan would have been third, and the money we have money for the top three payouts.
And I think I was 1 point short of winning the regular season total, which would have been pretty cool. So I just fell short to win anything last year. We'll see if this year's any better.
Yep, and again, this league you can run it however you want. The way we run ours, there's a payout for whoever has the most points at the end of the regular season, and then most points, top three for the overall after the Super Bowl ends, and there's also a payout for the worst. The reason why we mentioned that is
Yep.
each team has a dollar value against similar daily fantasy, and yeah, so actually we'll hop into that next. These are the teams. The commissioner that runs this league, he's going off power rankings and some projected win totals. So as you can see, the largest boxes, you have the Eagles and
Yep.
Ravens at $60 value, and all the way down to the worst two, Titans and Saints at $15. Now there is no limit to your teams. I think all 3 years I've got about 6 teams. You have a max of $250 to spend and a minimum of $240. So before we look at our teams, is there anything that jumped out at you with this one, Dan?
So I believe I was the first person to submit my teams. I went with 5 teams, and I was just saying before we started the video, I really struggled because like last year, for example, I felt really good about the Rams having a good season, and they were a super cheap team comparatively to how well they ended up doing. This year, the Rams were expensive, and pretty much all the teams that I picked were expensive, including one team that was more expensive than I thought. So spoiler alert coming up, I guess, when I kind of reveal my teams. But it was really challenging, Sammy B. I had a hard time. I kind of agonized over my final pick, if you will.
Yeah, no, and I did the same thing. I had my research ready to go. I'm like, I hope the values work out. There was a team I wanted but couldn't get because they were just out of my range.
Same.
And it's hard. You got to figure out who might be the surprise team. Last year was obviously Washington. They were a lower value. I don't have the values from last year.
Great
And
example.
they outperformed. So it also seems like you want to have a team that you outperform. So again, the rules, basic rules, you have 250 to spend, minimum 240, and uncap on teams. And Dan and I, well, spoiler alert, we have our teams, and we do have 3 overlaps. So I have 6 teams. At the top, as you can see, I spent $245, and Dan spent his whole $250. So
Yep.
I'll let you start. I see we both have the Rams. Why did you take the Rams, huh?
So I think we had to go a minimum of 240, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay. I want to say that I was stuck on 240 and 250 because I think I really agonized over trying to fit the Broncos in there, but I just couldn't. I couldn't fit it, quite frankly, because I really like. I mean, I don't mean to belabor it, but I feel like the Chiefs and Eagles are in a really good spot to get there again. So
Yeah.
I really didn't want to not pick those guys, and they were expensive. Obviously, the Rams. To answer your question, I feel good about the Rams, although I was worried because I submit my picks, and then the Matthew Stafford back stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
And so I even emailed him, like, if I wanted to, could I change my teams? And he was polite, but he's like, no, like, that's just too much work. And I was like, that's what I thought. But I just was nervous about what if Stafford does end up missing week one. But knock wood, he looks okay. So I still feel pretty good about the Rams pick. And the Patriots, I'm not going to lie, when we hung out about a month ago, you were kind of talking them up and you got me into it. So
I'll give the breakdown
that's all
there in a
you.
moment. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give the breakdown for the Patriots in a moment. Any other reasons why you picked these teams?
No, I'll just lastly touch on the Bucs. I think the Bucs are poised to at least win their division. So I feel good about them getting to the playoffs and potentially at least getting to the championship game. I think the Bucs can beat the Rams or the Eagles. I think those are the three top teams in the NFC, and maybe I'm a little biased as a Rams fan. Washington I like, but it was just a little too expensive for their team, whereas like you brought up last year, the first year with Jaden Daniels, they were such a cheap team that I felt really good about it. But this year, just not so much.
Yeah, no. And I mean, Dan and I did a video last week about the Rams season. We both feel good, probably 10-win team. I had them winning the division. So, of course, I was taking the Rams, the homer pick, you know?
Yep.
With the Buccaneers, same thing. I think they're in a weak division. They had a pretty good draft. I think they won the
Wow. Yep.
and the Bills have a pretty easy schedule, and they're expected to win a lot of games. So I actually expect a lot of people in our division, our league, I'm not sure how many are in this year, are going to pick the Bills. So my mindset was fade the chalk in the sense that if the Bills are bad at all, that's going to eliminate a team from most of the people, is my assumption. So I think the Patriots also have an easy schedule, and I think they can win enough games to, as long as the Bills win, I think the Patriots can make it to the wild card and make it to the playoffs. If not,
I do too.
yeah.
I think they're a wild card team. I actually think that too.
Yep. So I said, if you're familiar with like office pools or when there's a lot of people, sometimes you got to take the risk and you got to think, last year, that's why I took the Chiefs was I was like, all right, I think the Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl, which they were. So I'm like, I know they're chalk. They were the most expensive last year, but I took them just to eliminate anyone else that had the Chiefs. So now I'm doing the opposite approach. I'm taking the Patriots in hopes that the Bills actually stumble and lose a couple of games that they're supposed to win and hoping the Patriots win the division. Big toll, but and that logic almost applies to the Chargers. Like I said, I expect a lot of people. I think the Bills will be the most picked team. I think a lot of people might take the Chiefs, not as much as the Bills. And I think the Chiefs might finally take a step back. And I think Jim Harbaugh has proven every time he goes to a new team, he improves them over year after year. And I think they're going to keep getting better. So I think the Chargers have a good chance to win this division. So I'm hoping.
The Chargers going to Charger. I can't trust them until I actually see them not Charger. I mean, even losing last year to the Texans was. I mean, I think they blew a double-digit lead. So it's just the Chargers, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and I had one spot left. I wanted the Raiders. Why did I want the Raiders? Because of WrestleMania and WWE, baby. If you didn't know, and I've told Dan this before, since COVID, every WrestleMania has been held in an NFL stadium, and that team goes to the playoffs. And last year, or this year actually, WrestleMania was in Vegas. I think Vegas is going to the playoffs because of that logic. So I did have, I think at this point I was about $230, so I still had to pick one more team, one of the other bottom four to finalize my teams. I think the Giants are going to be the last team to win a game. I think Cleveland's going to be the second worst, and then the Saints I have no faith in. So by that logic, I had the Titans winning maybe 4 or 5 games. Obviously not good, but I had that higher than the other 3 teams. So that's why I had the Titans just to wrap up. I had to buy someone from the bottom four.
I really like the Titans pick because the logic, and I think you'll agree, like the logic last year was, hey, Washington's cheap. Maybe Jaden Daniels is special, and he was. So this year I had the thought of kind of like, hey, Titans are cheap. Maybe Cam Ward turns that franchise around. But I couldn't get the Titans and Broncos to fit in my budget. I think I was looking at the Titans, Broncos, Raiders, and I couldn't get a way to get 2 out of those 3 teams to fit. So I pivoted and went with the Bucs, who I think might have more wins than the Titans, and then Broncos, Raiders. We'll see. But
Yeah,
I really did want to fit the Broncos in if I could, honestly. I
yeah.
wish I could have had them as a 6th team.
I mean, they did good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm fully sold on them. I don't know. I mean, I think they finally have, a good. They picked up Evan Ingram as a tight end. I think they changed their running back. So maybe
Yeah, Harvey.
it reminded me last year. They reminded me of like the old Patriots, where it's like they're winning games, but you don't know who's going to score fantasy wise because it's all random players. It could be
Yeah.
Sutton one week. It can be Mims the next. Like their players, just random people are scoring for them. So
I don't. I have no real love for Sean Payton. I don't know if it's bitter feelings from them complaining about the Rams Saints several years ago, the championship game. I don't know. Because in my mind, I understand the call was the call. I get being upset, but like they also blew a 10-point lead. So like, do they want to talk about that at all, or do they just want to talk about the officiating? So I don't know.
yeah.
I guess I'm a little bit of a bitter one when it comes to that. That being said, I think the Broncos look pretty good. I wouldn't pick them over the Chiefs though, which is ultimately also why I didn't pick the Broncos, because if I would have had the Broncos Chiefs, they're going against each other, and I guess it would have kind of cannibalized some points in my mind. So I was really trying to spread out my my divisions. Like I don't have any teams in the same division, for example.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention last year there was a new rule where bonus if all your teams win in 1 week, you get a bonus point.
You're right. I forgot about that.
So I wish I pulled up last year's. I had 2 from the same division. I had Eagles and Commanders, so I was guaranteed to win when they matched up. But it was interesting.
I had 8 teams last year, and I thought that was a really smart approach because I'm like, I have all these teams, like I'm just throwing darts at a board. But unfortunately, like I had the Panthers last year. I thought, hey, maybe Bryce Young, blah blah blah. The Panthers kind of had an okay second half, but they really didn't win a lot of games, obviously. And so that really hurt me. Like I wish I would have kind of taken their money and done something else. Like the Vikings would have been a really good pick last year. This year they were really expensive. So it's tricky this year, man. It was really hard.
It was. It could be like 1 or 2 wins that affects you. So I don't remember all my teams. I remember last year I had the Colts and the Dolphins, who both let me down. I'm like, all I needed was maybe 1 win from each team. So like 2 more wins total for the both of them. And I'm like, I think I would have been the regular season winner and then been good for the overall winner. I mean, I'm so happy I finished second overall, but man, winning it all is a big difference. So
huge difference.
And yeah, so you completely changed your strategy. You went from 8 teams to only 5. You're really limiting yourself, and you're hoping all 5. I mean, like you said, they're all in different divisions, so they all could make it by division or even playoffs.
I appreciate you saying that. That is my hope. I know that the Rams and Eagles play, the Bucs and Rams play. I think the Eagles Chiefs play later this year. So there is some crossover, but it wasn't enough to deter me from going with those 5. Whereas like I really kind of backed out of picking the Broncos once I established I wanted to pick the Chiefs, for example.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious to see what we do next year because, I mean, it's only my 3rd year. I don't have an official strategy. Like you mentioned, the overlap and week to weeks. That's something I don't really look for. Even I think the first 2 years I did this, I think I had 2 teams from the same division. So it's the first year where I don't have 2 teams from the same division. So
okay,
we'll see if that makes a difference.
I
And then
think, funnily enough, last year too, I was off on the Eagles because they had kind of let me down the first year we did it. Because the first year we do it, the Eagles start like 10-0, 11-0, something like that, and then they just lose like their next 5 out of 6 games, including in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I wish if I would have had the Eagles last year, my life could have been so different, Sammy B. But
yeah.
hey, live and learn. And there is obviously a big element of luck into this. I mean, your teams have to stay healthy, and there's a lot of things out of your control, whether it's officiating, uh,
Mhm.
just good simple play calling. I think a lot of our teams have at least functioning offenses, which is good. But the Chargers make me nervous if I'm being they just always Charger, man.
Yeah. No, and a couple of things you mentioned, like maybe one or two small changes. Yeah, last year I remember I had Eagles, Rams, Commanders, and the guy that
Yep.
won it all had Eagles and Commanders. So
Yep.
what would have flipped it is if the Rams would have won that playoff game,
Yes.
because I mean, regardless if the Rams would have won, I would have had more points. But because we both had the Commanders, that's the other thing too. When you get to the playoffs, it's almost interesting to see where's the overlap. Like right here, if all of our teams make it to the playoffs, now we wipe out 3 of each of them. Now we're looking at my
Yep.
3 versus your 2. So it's interesting. Again, it's unlimited. Last year we had I think 52 people, so it was a lot. I'm hoping for another good amount because it makes it challenging that way. Nothing I would change, and I don't know a strategy yet. I just go in there, and these are our teams. We're locked in with these teams you see on the screen, so I'm excited for it. I am going to share it with the whole league, so they're going to know who we picked and now why we picked them. So hopefully they don't watch this until till Thursday night when the next Thursday
That's
when
right.
everything's locked in.
I think we're going to see, I don't know this is a fact, but I'm guessing at least 10, 20 more members
Mm-hmm.
by kickoff next Thursday, if I had
Yeah.
to guess.
Yeah, we aim for 50, and like I said, it's a nice payout for everyone. Again, it's a top. Again, you run your league how you want. The way ours runs, the winner for the regular season, and then overall 1, 2, 3, and last place. Because again, you have to spend the least amount. So that'd be funny too if you spend all the little money and end up somewhere in the middle. So, and yeah, I just pulled up the values again. I like the way they're grouped. I was hoping for the Raiders. I think the Panthers might have a good year. So
Yep.
I think we're only allowed 1 entry, which is fine. I'm cool with that. I like to cap it, but I'm like, I almost want to do it again. I was so set on the Rams and the Packers, and again, that was before we knew the values. Like there was a couple teams I knew for sure. So,
Yep.
did you know for sure you wanted the Chiefs, or is there a team you knew for sure you were taking no matter what?
The I guess it's a homer pick, but the Rams,
Yeah,
because even if the Rams, I'm pretty sure as long as I'm doing this, I'll always pick the Rams. Because even if the Rams are like the worst team in the league, they'll be so cheap that in my mind it'll still be justifiable to pick them.
yeah,
Um, Plus, I mean, you brought up this really good point in this video, but you also told me about this last year. Because of the area that we're in, I think it's probably a lot of Steelers and Bills fans, followed up by maybe Browns, Eagles, that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of smart to go against grain, even though I did pick the Eagles, but that's because I think they're the best team in the NFL. But
Mhm.
it is smart to not like pick the Bills, who I do like a lot, but everybody's going to have the Bills. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to kind of do different stuff to give me, I guess, an edge, which we'll obviously we'll see if it works out. If the Bills end up going to the Super Bowl, then I should have picked the Bills, right? But
yeah,
um, the Chiefs, I didn't know I was going to pick until I was doing it,
yeah,
and I don't. A part of me would have liked to have not picked the Chiefs and maybe, for example, taken the Broncos and the Titans or something like that, if that math would have even worked. I'm not even sure if that math works off the top of my head. But with all that being said, I haven't seen anybody knock off the Chiefs in the last 5 years other than the Bengals.
Mhm.
So I just kind of went with it. So I
Yeah,
guess long story short, it kind of went organically. The only team I really knew I wanted was the Rams.
yeah,
And unfortunately for me, though, they're expected to do well, and I guess for you too, they are expected to do well. So they were a little expensive, um, and it might be hard for them to live up to it. But I'm hoping they get to the championship game at a minimum.
yeah. No, I mean I do respect the Bills. Like you said, you like them too. I think I adopted them as my second favorite team, probably my favorite AFC team. So I want them to do
Yeah,
well. I'm going against the chalk, is what it is.
same.
So yeah,
I have a
and I
lot of
mean,
family that likes the Bills, so I got no hard feelings with the Bills at all.
it's funny because I love this league. It's so fun to me. So I remember last year, every Tuesday, I'm like waiting for that email, like waiting for the standings update, waiting for the standings update. And then when I was like inching towards the top, I was like, oh yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for NFL to get here, and I'm real excited to see what the week after week one, where the not really the standings, it's gonna be too early, but I want to see who took who. Like you did 8 teams. I don't know if you can do 9, maybe if the math works right. So I'm just curious to see what other people pick. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think that I had there might have been somebody else with 7 or 8 teams, but I think I had the most teams last year. And again, my year went really well. I was at the top of the leaderboard throughout the season, but then in the end, exactly what you said, I didn't have the Eagles, and that ended up kind of costing me a chance to really do anything.
I actually have some notes from the last pool. This might, I don't know if it's from last year. Yeah, last year. 44% of people in our pool took 5 teams. 33 took 6, which is where I'm at. And then 17 took 7, 4 took 8, and 1 person took 9 teams. So I guess the math could have worked.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
My mistake then. I stand corrected. I didn't realize you could fit 9 teams.
Yeah, and
wow.
the winner had 8 teams overall, and 4 of them were playoff teams. I had 6 and lost by 1 point. And I also had 4 playoff teams. So it seems like, you can try to aim for what you want, but the goal is to at least get 4 playoff teams, I'd say.
Well, and this is pretty self-serving. I think we're just having fun. But again, to kind of hammer the point home, had the Rams done what we would have wanted them to do, which beat the Eagles, you and I would have been sitting gravy train as far as getting a top 3 spot. But it's just not how it worked out.
I think you and I would have been, because I think there was so much overlap with everyone having in the top 10, at least the top 7. I remember that, all Commanders and Chiefs. I think if the Rams would have beat the Eagles, I think it would have been you and I for 1 and 2, honestly. So
yeah.
All right, sweet. I guess in closing, this is fun. Like I said, the best thing is you just set it and forget it. I mean, obviously, Dan mentioned earlier, this is just the beginning of the season, so one injury can just destroy a whole team's season. Look at the Niners; they were a high value last year. They're probably one of the top teams. I think the Niners and the Chiefs are the highest teams last year. So one injury can ruin the whole team, but you can't make any changes. You just set it and you forget it. So
if I wasn't a Rams fan, I probably would have picked the Niners over the Rams just because they were a little less expensive and they do have an easier schedule. But, I did in this case bet with my heart, so to speak. I wasn't going to pick the Niners over the Rams. I just couldn't do it.
I just looked, no, they're the same value this year, but I give you I respect them too. I think they have a good year. So, like I said, in my closing remarks, I think I'm excited for these 6 and your 5. I think we have some good teams. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of yours because we have the same 3, and then the other 2, I'm like, man, I like those 2. I wanted to have at least 6. So
I totally get it. I don't blame you at all. I like the Titans pick. Green Bay I had last year, so I didn't feel like doubling up on them. But I like Jordan Love and I like Green Bay. I still think I picked the Lions to win the division, but I'm not expecting the Lions to win 15 games again. So I like. Yeah. I like where your head's at. I like it. I like your teams as well. The only one that really worries me is the Chargers again.
Guess we'll see. We're gonna be talking in a couple months. How are they gonna do the championship game when the Chargers and Rams are both hosting it? Same division, same team, same stadium. All right, that's my closing. Anything from you, Danny Stone, before we sign off?
This is really fun. Like we said in our last video, just if you want, keep a lookout. They're always free. We do them for fun. Feel free to join us during the NFL season. I write for Turf Show Times as well, so check out that website for Rams and NFL info. And we'll see what happens. Good luck to everybody, and good luck to all the bettors and sports watchers out there as well.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I can add. Yeah, I'm always checking the chat. Even though I'm the host, I'm also checking the chat, see if there's anything in there. And I do plan to post more regularly, hoping to do a video every weekend for NFL season, maybe live or maybe just giving out bets. So take a look. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. One love.
One love.